Good afternoon and welcome to Marion Local High School. It's Midwest Athletic Conference Baseball today on WOSN. The Fort Recovery Indians in town to play the Marion Local Flyers. My name is Mark Scheim. My pleasure to play-by-play alongside Dave Bowen. Dave, I've done a whole lot of football games over there at Booster Stadium. This feels like an October Friday night here at Marion Local today.
October Friday night, and Mark, it's great to be your wingman tonight, and it's high school baseball. It's that time of the year. Wish it was a little warmer. Could be worse. It could be a lot better, but hey, we're playing baseball. High school kids getting after it. It is the spring season.
It is 46 degrees. The wind is blowing in from kind of center field straight in towards home plate. We have a couple of first ball pitchers today. That would be Will Arling and Greg Garman today, as it's legacy year here at Marion Local. Let's go through our starting lineup for the Fort Recovery Indians. Behind the plate today will be Ethan Heitkamp at third base. Excuse me, I'm talking about the wrong team, Dave. I better get the right team in here. Behind home plate will be Brody Hart. At third base, Caden Holman, Caden Greasy will be at shortstop. Austin Streetcrest is at second base. Jacob Fote is at first. Mason Diller in right. Reese Wendell in center, and Gavin Evers will be in right field. And they got Alex Karki on the mound today. Alex is 7+ innings so far this season. He's got 8 strikeouts, a single walk. His ERA is a microscopic 0.913. And we'll give you their batting averages so we have a chance to go through this. But Marion Local, they're going to start Parker Hess on the mound today. Now, we have stats from 2 of their 3 games, and we have no numbers on Parker Hess right now.
No, we don't. Well, now we can look at last year, and Parker Hess had a .850 ERA, 74 strikeouts, and only 14 walks. And he is a 3-year starter for Marion Local, and he's on the bump tonight.
Around the infield for them, Ethan Heitkamp will be behind the plate. Ethan Rindler will be at third. Griffin Bruns at short. Ethan Osterholt plays second base. Austin Niekamp is at first. And left, center, and right will be Bryant Meyer, Drew Laws, and Hayden Peppelman. Fort Recovery comes in at 3-1 on the season. Marion Local is 3-0. This is the initial MAC game, as tonight is the first night of MAC baseball this spring. And a little bit of information behind the plate. Our home plate umpire today is Scott Bear, and he's backed up in the infield by Jason Miller. We're supposed to have Kevin Forer here. He got caught in traffic at a big mess out on I-75. Our baseball game is brought to you by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit charlesriver.com for more information.
Little history on the rivalry of this game since 2009. 7-9 is Marion Local. Fort Recovery leads the series with 9 wins and 7 losses. They split last year. Marion Local won the league game 6-5. Fort Recovery returned the favor in the district championship, coming away with an 11-3 victory on the way to a state runner-up.
We'll talk about the game a little bit more between the innings a little bit later on, because one of the most unusual plays in baseball happened, and we'll bring that up a little bit later on today as we have our opening batter step in. This is Reese Wendell, and the first pitch will be a ball. As we start at 5:05 today. Close to 5 o'clock. You don't get baseball games started on time in the spring very often.
No, you don't.
That ball's going to be grounded up the middle, picked up by the shortstop. Across the diamond it goes, and they got him on the play by Griffin Bruns to Austin Niekamp.
Good job by Bruns going to his left and covering some ground, and gets that first out of the game. That brings up Mason Diller.
It does. Mason Diller is the right fielder for Fort Recovery, wears number 13. Hits .250 on the season. Pitch is low and away.
With the temperature that it is, you might see a little more of an expanded strike zone. Probably home plate umpire told both coaches, have your guys up there ready to swing the bat.
Ball's going to be grounded up the middle. Looks like the same play. And that it is, as Griffin Bruns throws out the second batter of this inning as well.
Yeah, exactly. Carbon copy. 2 balls right up to shortstop for Bruns, and he takes care of them. A couple worm burners.
Here's Caden Greasy stepping in. He is the shortstop today. It's .357. Parker Hess trying to get through a 1-2-3 opening inning. He's thrown 4 total pitches. Breaking balls down and away.
Greasy real tight to the plate in that batter's box. That back foot right on the line.
Breaking ball strike evens the count at 1-1. With the wind coming in the way it is, you're going to have to really get a hold of one to get it out of here today. And ball's going to be grounded to the right side, picked up by the second base Osterholt. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Parker Hess. Half an inning in the books. We're back after this. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. We're back at Marion Local. Our scoreboard sponsor today is Wabash Mutual Telephone, proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. The Marion Local Flyers will hit this way. Griffin Bruns will lead off. He will be followed by the number 2 hitter. That's Ian Rendler. Ethan Heitkamp hits third, and Hayden Peppelman will be the cleanup hitter today. Bryant Meyer will be hitting 5th. 6th is Parker Hess. Number 7 in the lineup is Easton Osterholt. Austin Niekamp hits 8th, and Drew Laws will hit 9th. Bruns, Rendler, Heitkamp. Number 4 is Peppelman. 5 is Meyer, Parker Hess, Ethan Osterholt, Austin Niekamp, and Drew Laws. And on the mound today, Alex Garkey today. 7+ innings. David, you're telling me in a ERA of .913.
Yeah, has had a real good start to the season, and he looks to continue that here in league play. Definitely the number 1 for the Indians.
Defensively, they set up this way. Brody Hart will be behind the plate. Caden Holman's at third. Caden Greasy is at shortstop. Austin Seacrest is at second. Jacob Foote plays first base today. Mason Diller's in right. Reese Wendell is in center. Gavin Evers will be in left field. Our numbers, Dave, kind of hesitate a bit to use them. We know the Flyers have played 3 games, and we have stats on 2 of them. Griffin Bruns will step in hitting at 143 in the 2 games that we have numbers for.
Yeah, a little hesitant, and with both teams with just having 3 and 4 games under their belt, the numbers are definitely going to move a lot yet here as the season progresses, but you always want to get off to a good start, and most of these players do have a decent batting average heading into this first league contest.
It's been a brutal spring for baseball, for all spring sports, really.
It's been cold, it's been wet.
A lot of games postponed into later on the season. Some just outright canceled, trying to find dates. In fact, we can kind of give you the schedule for these 2 teams coming up, but they're going to be really, really busy making up games, plus the games are already scheduled on the season. Here comes Griffin Bruns, shortstop, made a couple of ground ball outs back in top half of this inning.
See if he can match the efficient inning that Garkey had in the top of the first.
Breaking ball. And it's going to start him out with ball 1. Garkey back to the mound. That pitch is away. It's 2-0.
Yeah, I stand corrected. Parker Hess for Marion Local in the top of the first had a real efficient inning. Garkey looking to match that.
It's a strike. Makes it 2-1. Big, strong player is Alex Garkey. That pitch is going to stay inside, makes it 3-1. Bruns trying to be a leadoff base runner here in the opening inning for the Flyers.
Yeah, Garkey steps off the back of the rubber right there, but he's got a nice, smooth delivery and a good pace, good rhythm. Comes with the inside strike right there.
That he does, makes it 3-2. On deck is Ian Rindler, the third baseman. Pitch is low and in, then we'll get a walk. So opening base runner for Marion Local by Griffin Bruns. Got a couple of stolen bases on the season, as you might expect a leadoff hitter to do. As here's Rindler stepping in, hitting 400.
Yeah, it's got a good start to the season. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Hayes looks to move Bruns to second with the bunt, put the pressure on the Fort Recovery defense.
Holman right on the edge of the grass at third. That breaking ball stays high. So a pitch efficient first inning for Parker Hess. Not so much so here for Alex Garkey.
Good lead by Bruns down at first.
That pitch will stay inside as well. It's 2-0. Out of the 7 pitches that have been thrown, 5 of them have been balls.
Yeah, so right now, Coach Hayes is going to want Rindler to be very, very selective with it being a 2-0 count.
That pitches away, makes it 3-0. So on a cold, windy afternoon, Alex Garkey having a little trouble getting out of the gate here.
See if he can climb the ladder here.
That's a 4-pitch walk. So the opening 2 batters for the Flyers have walked here in the inning, and that will bring up Ethan Heitkamp, the catcher. And we're a little meeting at the mound today, try to get him settled down a little bit.
Yeah, this is a game, Mark, where you've got a lot of veterans out there. Of course, Fort Recovery with the experience last year of going all the way to the state tournament, but they have 5 seniors and 5 juniors in the starting lineup. Marion Local, they have 8 seniors and 1 junior out there, 2 veteran teams. First game of league play, it's going to have a lot to say with who puts themselves in the driver's seat for a league championship.
Well, the Marion Local Flyers actually have 3 players back who were first-team all-conference a year ago, and they want to build off of that.
That would be Ethan Heitkamp, Hayden Peppelman, and Parker Hess.
So let's see if Garkey settles down after a meeting with his coach at the mound. Veteran young man, you think he'll get it straightened out? Got the first baseman pulled way in, Jacob Foote.
Yeah, they're looking at Heitkamp to maybe put one down, but I think right now Marion Local's going to be very conservative at the plate. They're going to make Garkey throw some strikes.
The last 5 pitches have been out of the strike zone. Long hold. Here's a good pitch down and in for a strike. Makes it 1-1. Heitkamp's the catcher.
Now let's see if the Flyers have a play on here with the count even, as you said, at 1-1.
Foul ball. Good contact. Makes it 1-2. No indication he wanted to put one in the grass that time.
Yeah, we know Garkey's struggling a little bit finding the strike zone, but he's not far off.
Right.
He's real close, trying to paint the black, maybe just a little too fine. That was a good pitch on the inner third. See if he stays there or if they look to go away here.
Breaking ball is inside, and as you said, he's been close, so that one was.
Yep, stays right there on the inner third, just off the black.
Count goes to 2-2. Hayden Peppelman is the on-deck hitter. The ball's down in the dirt, and is that going to move him up? Going to get a play at third? Nope. Brody Hart blocked the ball, got away from him a little bit, and he chose to wait it out. As we get a wild pitch from Garkey, moved everybody up a base without needing to sacrifice.
And he's back to another full count situation. He goes back to the windup here with nobody out.
And got him swinging.
That's a big strikeout. That's a big out for Fort Recovery.
That's a huge one. That'll bring up the DH, though. It'd be Peppelman.
Batting in the 4-hole, has not found himself a greener, a base hit yet. Be a really fortuitous time for him to do that if you're a Flyer fan. Runners in scoring position.
First batter to open up with a strike call from Garkey. Back he comes again to the left-hander. That one's a strike as well. Quickly up 0-2.
It just opens up the arsenal now for Garkey, being ahead 0-2. See if he can get Peppelman to chase.
Good pitch outside. Peppelman held up on it. Could be a little bit adventurous if you trust your catcher back there. Ball's going to be grounded up the first baseline, and he made the play on it. And did he get him out? He did.
A lot of action down there on the first base line. First of all, Jacob Foote had to make a decision whether to field that or see if it would go foul. He decides to field it. He gets the out, but Marion Local gets a run, so a productive out for Peppelman. He picks up an RBI.
It's one of those, do I pick it up or don't I? He waited as long as he could. I better make a play on it. Get the out, gave up a run in the process. Another left-handed hitter steps in the form of Bryant Meyer. 333 on the season is Bryant. Pitches low and away to start him off with a ball. That pitches up a bit. 2-0.
Small school, high school baseball, you don't see back-to-back left-handers very often, and you don't see them in your 4 and 5 spot in the lineup.
Swing and a miss. Ball is in inner part of the plate and down. Good breaking ball. 2-1 is the count. Garkey trying to get out of this with just a single run. And that one is also a strike on the outside corner. Got the count to 2-2.
Yeah, that was a good pitch right there.
Certainly was.
Meyer couldn't really offer it that one, but he'll have to protect the dish now.
And got him swinging. Pair of strikeouts in the opening inning, but the Flyers get on the board with a run. They lead 1-0 as we head to the second. You're watching high school baseball, WOSN. We're pleased to announce new pricing for the WSN streaming service. For only $8 per month, you can watch WSN from anywhere at any time. Sign up today at app.wsn.tv. Also available on Roku and on Apple TV. Caden Holman will step in, the third baseman for the Fort Recovery Indians. He'll be followed by Alex Garkey and Brody Hart. As Parker S. back on the hill for inning number 2. Might have overthrown that one a bit.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. It seemed like he tried to come through a little bit out of sync with his arm action, and that one went into the dirt.
A 1-2-3 opening inning. That pitch is just on the outside. Makes it 0-2, or 2-0, excuse me. Our initial baseball broadcast of the 2025 year here on WOSN.
So I think we're allowed to have a couple errors, aren't we?
I think we're allowed to. We didn't even get a preseason.
No, exactly. Yeah.
No spring training games.
We're right into league action with 2 solid baseball programs in the Midwest Athletic Conference.
2-1. Yes, back to the plate. That one's dribbled foul and makes it 2-2.
Both again with great starts to the season. The Indians 3-1. They dropped their initial game to Salina 7-2, and then 3 consecutive victories. 14-7 over Franklin Monroe, 5-1 over Adams Central, and 5-1 over Houston.
Yes, looking at his catcher height camp. And a long hold this time. And breaking ball. Ooh, that was a tough pitch to take. Great eye by Caden Holman, makes it in a full count.
Yeah, that was a really good pitch.
Snapped that breaking ball off and just got it outside and down a bit.
Hess with his first full count of the game.
Fouled away.
Marion local defensively playing Holman straight up. A little deep in left field.
I thought the same thing. For as windy as it is and the wind coming in, expecting some power here out of Holman. That ball's hit to right. And out tracking it down, tracked the line drive down, did Hayden Peppelman. And opening batter in inning number 2 goes out to the right fielder.
Yeah, Holman makes great contact, and that ball did flare to the right from behind home plate, but nicely done by Hayden Peppelman to reel that one in.
Here's Alex Garkey stepping in, hitting 154 on the season. Pitch stays inside and high.
Hess comes in high and tight. See if he goes down and away here.
With this open stance here from Garkey. Allows him to step right into the ball. That's going to be fouled down the right field line. Makes it 1-1.
And Marion local, as we said, coming into this game 3-0, wins over Spencerville 7-3, Salina 5-2, and Fort Loramie 7-1.
Breaking ball, snapped that one off and got to the inside corner, makes it 1-2.
And obviously for the Flyers, with their state tournament run in basketball, they got a late start for a lot of these guys. But to be 3-0. They did the same thing when they transitioned from football to basketball too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
11-0, I believe, before taking an L. Maybe it was even better than that.
Well, I know they played 11 basketball games in 23 days.
Exactly, yes.
And won them all. What an accomplishment that was. All the way to the state tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Ball's going to be lined into right field. Hepperman's going to pick it up, throw it to first. Could he get him? He did. How about that play, Dave?
Nicely done. Peppelman charges hard and sees he's got a play, and he goes to Austin Niekamp. And Garkey, he was hustling down the line. He wasn't, taking that for granted that he had a single, but just a nice play by Peppelman.
Well, first of all, Peppelman was able to play in a bit because of the wind, and the ball was hit on a hop to him, and he made a great play and really good art. That's going to be popped up down the line. Peppelman's going to chase it. Does he run out of room?
He caught it.
He caught that one. It was a little bit out of our view behind the dugout. He made a great play in foul territory. Really big inning that time for Caden Peppelman.
Yes.
Responsible for all 3 of the outs in that particular inning. We'll go to the bottom of the second. It's 1-0 Flyers. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. Tonight's baseball game is presented by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit charlesriver.com for more information. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Flyers with a 1-0 lead. And Parker Hess will be the leadoff hitter for the Flyers. Bottom number 2.
Great opportunity for the pitcher for the Flyers to get on base and try and help himself.
And he's going to line one to right field. Let's make it a similar play. That's going to take a couple hops. Didn't give the chance for the outfielder Diller to make the same type of play. So the first hit of the game will go to Parker Hess.
Nice piece of hitting right there by Hess. Waited for the ball to come to him, kept his hands back, and went with the pitch, drove it to right field.
Ethan Overholt will step in. Ethan was 1 for 2 on the stat page that we were able to secure. Parker Hess. Here's a bunt opportunity, pulls it back, and that's going to be a wild pitch, Dave. Bounced in the dirt, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, before it could get to him. So, wild pitch will allow the runner to move up.
And now you don't have to sacrifice the out here, as that's what Osterholt was looking to do. Now he can swing away here and see if he can get himself an RBI.
Indians thinking maybe you want to bunt him to third. They've got the first baseman foot way close. And instead he's going to slap one foul out of play. Makes the count 1-1.
Good pitch right there by Garkey.
Well, Jacob Foote will back up a bit, back to the edge of the grass. He was a lot closer on the last one.
Mm-hmm. Still thinking they might lay one down.
Breaking ball for a strike, makes it 1-2. Austin Niekamp is on deck. Future Malone Pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
Pioneer, right? Basketball being his forte. And long look that time by Garkey. So the batter steps out. Osterholt. Back in he climbs. And he swings through that one. This would be the first or the second strikeout of the game for Alex Garkey. Third strikeout. Yeah, right. I missed Bryant Meyer. Thank you. So 3 strikeouts now as we get Austin Niekamp, the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Pretty good lead at second base by Hess. Pitch is high. Tough to throw a ball high to a guy who's 6'8".
That's what I was just going to say, Mark. You're right. He gets in that stance, and he looks tall, and that ball was high. And
pitch is low and away.
yeah, Garkey's got to find the strike zone now. He was high, now he was way low on that second pitch. Got to find the happy medium here with Niekamp, the 250 hitter.
Drew Laws is on deck. He is the number 9 man in the order. Ball also is high. It goes to 3-0.
Niecamp's probably going to have the take on right here. 3-0. Watch it into the catcher's mitt.
And that one was down.
Bad news is you walk knee camp. The good news is you put the double play into effect here. If you can get a solid ground ball, allows the center fielder batting 400, looking to find a greener out there, and played another run for the Flyers.
Offered to bunt that, throw to third, and hustling back into second base is Hess. It's a good pitch to bunt, Dave. You like those pitches that are down, you can drop the head of the bat on. Just wasn't able to do so that time.
No, and Laws, he waited to the last second to show the bunt, but Fort Recovery's anticipating it, no reason to hide it, and he sort of punched at the ball.
That time he swings through that one, so it goes to 0-2. Back to the top of the order with Griffin Bruns on deck. Long hold and snapped that off inside, and it hit him.
Just barely.
Yes.
You could almost make the argument that Laws didn't try to get out of the way, because I didn't think he thought it was going to hit him, Mark, but he does take the contact, and now the bases are loaded as the lineup turns over.
Just a single out, and we're back to Griffin Bruns. He walked and scored a run last inning. Breaking ball, that's hit foul down the right field line. One thing is for sure, they're making Garkey throw a lot of pitches here in the opening innings.
Yeah, Griffin Bruns is another one of these 3-year starters for Marion Local.
Pitch on the outside corner makes it 0-2. This would be a huge out for Garkey to get.
Huge out for Garkey, but I'm sure Bruns still feels pretty comfortable with all that experience he has on his resume.
And he swings through that one.
Great pitch.
It certainly was. Fourth strikeout came at a great time for Alex Garkey. That'll be the second out of the inning, and we'll go to Ian Rindler. Rindler also walked in the opening inning. This allows the infield to return to normal depth. They had the first and third have been playing in with the hitter Bruns up. 2 outs, they go back to a normal spot, and there's a breaking ball for a strike. He's found some success with that pitch.
Just a big at-bat right here in the early part of this game. Bottom of the second, Marion Local looking to play a couple, and for recovery, and Alex Garkey, well, they want to keep it at 1.
The ball's foul behind the plate, 0-2. So after having some struggle when he walked to knee camp and also was able to hit Drew Laws with a pitch, he's thrown 5 consecutive strikes. Trying to get out of this. And got him looking.
What a pitch on
That
the inner third
was.
right there. Froze Rindler for the third out of the inning.
And when he needed it, bases loaded, he was able to get it. We'll stay 1-0 as we go to the top of the third. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. Well, we got a break between innings. We want to look back to a play that occurred a year ago, Dave. One of the most unusual plays we had a chance to deal with in high school baseball. Fort Recovery, Marion Local at Coldwater, and they're playing in the district finals. And we have a young man at bat named Caden Greasy, and he's going to hit the ball into center field. And what looks like a mistake by a lot of different guys, and all of a sudden Griffin Bruns, the center fielder, picks it up, sprints to home, makes the play at home. And we have something I've never put in a scorebook before, Dave, a triple and 8 unassisted at the plate.
Yeah, you just don't see that. And that's one of the neat things when you go to watch a baseball game, just what's going to happen in that game that is unique. Well, you definitely did not have that one on your bingo card.
You know, the interesting thing about that, Dave, you know, you and I have been around, high school sports a long time. It really was somewhat of a meaningless play. Fort Recovery was way ahead at that particular point in time. There's all kinds of mistakes. Nobody covers second. Nobody covers third. Nobody covers the plate. It looks like he runs to the stop sign at home, and yet you got two athletes just competing and making a play.
Exactly, and that's what you expect from Midwest Athletic Conference baseball in a district championship game. You're going to play every play like it's 0-0. Yeah, maybe the game for the most part was out of reach, but wow, what great hustle with both players getting after. Was really, really a positive representation of high school baseball in Northwest Ohio.
As Austin Sechrist steps in for Fort Recovery in the third day, that play went viral. That was on a Friday night. My brother in Orlando says, "Hey, you were on Sports Center this morning. MLB picked it up. It went. We had a text to the station. I'm a military guy in Japan. I just saw something off your station, so it just went viral and everywhere, and you can still find it on YouTube."
And you called it, and a great way to call it. I'll tell you, I was envious. I'm like, man, I wish I'd have been sitting there with Mark calling that one. That looked like a lot of fun.
Well, here's the good thing. Chad Spencer was doing color that day, and he was outstanding because, and pitches 1-1 now, 2-1 on Austin Sechrist. I'm following a runner. I did not realize at the time that nobody had touched the ball until the center fielder Bruns picked the ball up and ran home and made that play at the plate, and Chad was right on it and made a great call with it. Ball's fouled away. It's 2-2. So we're back to the third inning here. This will be Austin Sechrist, Gavin Evers, and Colston Post for the Fort Recovery Indians. It's 1-0 Flyers here in the top of the third. And that pitch is just outside. That'll make it full count.
And as we said, with that win in that district championship, Fort Recovery, a losing record entering the tournament, 9-12. They made it all the way to the state championship game, falling to Berlin Highland 3-2. And again, it just is a testament. Finished sixth in the MAC last year, but what a run. Now, both of these teams, as I did my research, they could see each other again in tournament. They're both Division VI teams, so that could happen again this year as far as them playing. An out at home plate by the center fielder unassisted. I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah.
But you'll see something unique if these two teams tangle again, and we're seeing ourselves. We've got a Donnybrook right now going into the third.
Austin Sechrist walks to open up the third inning. That brings up Gavin Evers, the left fielder. First base runner for Marion, for the Fort Recovery Indians. Snap throw is not in time. I was watching the throw, Dave. They didn't put the pitch on the board. It was smaller. That's a strike. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Had to wait a minute to see how they called that one. Evers showing bunt and pulls it back. Here's a steal attempt, and he's got that one made. Stolen base.
Yeah, Ethan Heitkamp had a little bit of trouble getting that ball out of his mitt. Seemed like his pop time, he held the ball a little bit longer than he normally would, and as a result, a stolen base occurs for Sechrist.
Sechrist on second base. Pitch was called a ball, so it's 1-1. Indians trying to get this one knotted up here in the third. Well, the scoreboard was incorrect, Dave. So it was actually 0-2, and we get a swinging strike 3.
First strikeout for Parker Hess in this game.
Colston Post steps in, the designated hitter. He hits for Jacob Foote, the first baseman. So the left-hander steps in. Pitches a ball. This will turn it over then to the top of the order. Reese Wendell's on deck. Long hold by Hess. Pitches outside. It's 2-0. Sometimes, Dave, first time you see a left-handed hitter and you're a right-handed thrower, throws you off a little bit. We'll see if Hess gets it together here.
It does. It's unique how that occurs. You're not thinking that way, but all of a sudden, oh my God, it's just a little different.
There's a snap throw to third. The runner's headed to third, and he dives in. The throw went to second. Sechrist ends up on third.
Austin Sechrist with a great decision. Once he saw Heitkamp winding up to throw to second, he took off, and he gets himself another stolen base as a result. Thrown behind the runner in that situation. I understand what Heitkamp was thinking, but now Marion Local, they're going to bring the infield in, try and cut the runoff at the plate.
Scoreboard says the count's 1-2. And that is on the corner, so I think we had a little bit of issues with the scoreboard, Dave.
Yeah.
I think it's 2-2 now, which is what they've just put up on the board. I had 1 and 2 on my book. I looked at the scoreboard to make sure I had it correct, and that ball's just fouled away. Good swing on it by Post to spoil that one.
When there was only one strike, the Marion local infield, they were in the grass. And when it went to the 2-2 count, they are still in, but they're on the dirt now.
Good speed in Sechrist, as we saw earlier. And that ball's going to be grounded to second base. Play at home is not going to get him on a fielder's choice.
And that was a tough situation for Ethan Osterholt. He couldn't go to first because Niekamp, had shaded towards the baseball as well. And then when he decided to come home, it was too late. Tie ball game.
Good speed on the bases by Austin Sechrist. Ties the score at 1. And that will bring Reese Wendell to the plate. And we're going to get time.
Just think our home plate umpire wasn't ready to go yet, recovering, coming back.
What he's looking at is Wendell is too close to the plate by where the white line was, so Wendell just said, I'll just erase the white line. And he called no pitch again now.
I think Wendell called
timeout.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether that was the case or whether if you want to talk to him again about his place with the his feet position.
Yeah, I don't know if he is tight to the plate. I can understand why he likes being close to the plate, and I can understand why he tried to scratch out the batter's box in order to get that much closer. But as a pitcher, I think you got to jam him inside, don't you, Mark?
Here it comes. That's going to be hit to right. Peppelman's going to track it down.
Nice
He made
catch.
another nice play out there. The umpire says he caught it in fair territory. Peppelman's having a great game in right
field.
field.
Sure is. That's his third put out. He has an assist to go along with that. 2 outs in the inning.
If that gets by, and that might well have scored a run because that was going to go a ways to the fence and see if what kind of speed Post would have had. Post has to remain at first base, and that will bring in Mason Diller. Diller takes a half-hearted cut at one. He was fooled on a bit. He's one of the people who grounded out to the shortstop in the opening inning as some plays made in the opening inning by the shortstop, Griffin Bruns. Ball's going to be grounded to Bruns again. See which way he goes with it. Going to throw across the diamond. Low throw in the dirt. They looked a long time at third base whether they should try to bring in Post or not. Instead, he's going to end up at third. And let's see how that is scored out there, Dave. I'm not sure the throw was in the dirt. Was he going to beat it out or not? And we'll wait to see what they put on the scoreboard.
I think Bruns would have had him. I think we've got an error on the play. I think on the throw, Niekamp, if he could have dug that one out, he'd have saved his shortstop there a little bit. But I think we just had our first error of the ball game.
That is correct. It is called an error on the throw. This will bring in Caden Greasy. He grounded out to second in the opening inning. The number 3 hitter. That ball's wide. It's ball in that pitch. That ball's hit up in the air. Drew Laws is out in center field. He tracks it down for the third out of the inning. Fort Recovery, though, they get on the board as we head to the bottom of the third. We're tied at 1. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. It's the bottom of the third at Marion Local. Our scoreboard sponsor today is Wabash Mutual Telephone, a proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. And we're tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the third. Mark Shine, Dave Bowen, Jonathan Young, Megan Sherrick, Nick Fraley here. Got the whole crew here today, Dave.
We absolutely do. It's a little chilly, but they're braving the elements in order to bring this baseball game to our viewers.
Here's Ethan Heitkamp will step in for the Flyers. He swings through the first pitch. Get that thing tied up and see how Garkey responds to that, you know?
Yeah, he gave up that run in the first inning as he walked the first 2 batters.
That breaking ball, he swung through that one as well. You know, I found today it's Bark in the Park Day. This lady brought her basset hound.
There you go.
You know what a basset hound is? It's half a dog high and twice a dog long. Breaking ball, that was a beauty, but it's still, I thought he got him.
I did too.
Whoa, I thought he was going to ring him up. It went wide, I guess, a little bit outside. That was a really nice pitch.
Sets him up for this pitch.
1-2, and that one's down low, makes it 2-2.
Ethan Heitkamp, Hayden Peppelman, and Bryant Meyer, first three batters.
It's like to be on the stadium cleanup crew on Bark in the Park Day. That ball's hit up in the air. Looks like the center fielder is going to come in and make the play, and he does. Play made by Reese Wendell. Ball got up in the wind, kept pushing him in a little bit, and Heitkamp flies out to center field.
The outfield has priority over the infield, and Wendell makes the decision to come in and take that one. But you're right. We have the wind blowing in from left field. That pushed that ball right back into the infield. Good catch by Wendell.
Peppelman swings. That's it up in the air on the foul territory. Behind the dugout over here.
Ethan Heitkamp, with that out, he's a first-team Macker, and so is Hayden Peppelman, first-team MAC selection from last year. Garkey trying to weave his way through these strong players, strong hitters for Marion Local.
Fastball was inside. It's 1-1's the count for Peppelman. Bryant Myers on deck. Good pitch, breaking ball. For strike two, it's 1-2. Must be cold. The dog's got a coat on.
He does.
1-2 is the count. Peppelman against Alex Garkey. Garkey back to the mound and brings it in. That ball is fouled at the plate.
You know, you mentioned Bark in the Park. You know, you have to pay to take your pet to the game
dog, yeah.
at Great American. And my wife would like to do that, but I'm like, I don't know that I want to pay to have my dog watch a game. He's got to watch it with me on TV first. He's got to earn that right.
Special, like, concession stand on dog day. That ball's grounded to the right side of the infield. There's a play to Garkey. Did he get him? He did. What a wonderful play by the first baseman, Fote. Garkey made the cover, and they got him at first.
Yeah, nicely done. Jacob Foote had to go to his right, and Garkey, just like you practice in the gym in the preseason, hustles over there, gets along the baseline. That way he can find the bag easily after he catches the ball. They retire Peppelman.
2 outs for Bryant Meyer. Garkey trying to get his first 1-2-3 inning. Pitches a ball.
Flyers finished 18-12 last year. They have 2 MAC championships to their credit, and Fort Recovery has 1. You'd think, well, maybe these teams have more than that, but there's a big bully in the MAC when it comes to baseball. It's 33 MAC championships from
Coldwater.
Yes.
Foul ball.
33.
It's been a long time since the Flyers won a championship. 83, I think it was. I think it was the last one for Fort Recovery was 2018, maybe, in that general area. Been a long time for the Flyers. That ball's grounded up the middle. Garkey makes the play on it. It's going to flip it over to Fote, and he does get his 1-2-3 inning. As that one goes 1-3, and we'll go to the top of the 4th, tied at 1. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. We're back at Marion Local. You can join Danny Holbrook, Miles Holliday, and Nate Garlock each week as they break down local. This is how up-to-date those guys are. Local football matchups.
I read that during basketball.
I read that. Me too.
It's not football.
It's not basketball. Who knows what those guys are talking about now?
Yeah.
One thing is they have great guests every week.
Do.
It is the one thing I really enjoy about their podcast is the people they bring in to talk to. This week it was the guys from Shawnee, Beckett Berkey, his coach.
Triplett.
So join those guys every week. Usually posts on Tuesday night about 6 o'clock. As we go to the 4th, we're going to bring in Caden Holman will lead off for the Fort Recovery Indians.
Mark, I actually listened to the Three Wise Men on the trip down here on Spotify. Very enjoyable. They do a great job, and every now and then we get a sub in, and always look forward to that opportunity. They just can't call it the Three Wise Men.
No.
Well, at least when I'm there.
No, when I'm on there, it's that old guy and the other 2 guys. That's how they do it. Holman takes a couple pitches for a ball. He flew out to the right fielder, Peppelman, back in inning number 2. Pitch is up. It's 3-0 as Parker Gus having a little trouble finding the plate here, the opening batter of inning number 4.
He still has a no-hitter intact, even though the Indians have a run on the board. Walking the leadoff hitter doesn't help yourself, and he comes back with a nice strike.
Took a little bit off that one and guided it over the plate. 3-1's the count. On deck is Alex Garkey. Pitch on the outside corner.
That's a real good pitch.
It really was. 3-2.
Yeah, Holman tried to work it into a walk by trying to go down the line, but you know, he never dropped the bat.
Nope.
I think he knew that was a strike.
3-2's the count. Opening hitter, inning number 4. And it's down as he walked him. Second walk of the game. And leadoff hitter on for Alex Garkey. Garkey thought he had a hit. In fact, I thought he had it back in his initial appearance in inning number 2. He lined the ball into the right fielder. Peppelman made a play and got him out at first. We're going to have a pinch runner.
Coach Kevin Knight talking to Scott Barr, the home plate umpire.
This would be number 16, Dave. I got to find my roster here. And
I got it right here.
You got a roster, do you? Okay.
Number 16 is Cody Klinke.
Okay, Cody Klinke will become the pinch runner for Holman. And Garkey will step in. He's got a big lead, and Hess hadn't even put the foot on the rubber yet. Let's see if he's got some wheels over there he wants to turn. Let's see.
Yeah, playing with Parker Hess's mind a little bit. He just stared at him, and Hess stared back, but Hess is on the rubber now, coming home.
Pitch is outside for a ball. Brody Hart's on deck.
Don't think you want to take the bat out of Garkey's hands right here with a bunt, but it's going to square up right there.
Hess throws over to Austin DeCamp.
Good throw over to first because the Marion local defense are able to see that Garkey did square up. See if Fort Recovery stays with that.
Good lead for Klinke. Here he goes. Here's the throw to second, and had a chance to get him, but the ball was in the dirt. Stolen base for Klinke.
Yeah, the throw not being on the second base side of second base allowed that stolen base to occur. But Klinke, he really sort of had a late jump right there. Marion local had a chance to get him.
So runner on second with nobody out in the form of Cody Klinke. Counts 1-1. That ball's hit up the middle. Here comes the center fielder, make a play. See what Laws does with it. Here's the throw coming home. It's going to be cut off by DeCamp.
RBI single for Garkey, helps himself, and he's fired up down there at first base.
That he is. So the walk, the stolen base, and then a sharp single up the middle. Makes it a 2-1 game. Fort Recovery as Cody Klinke scores, and that will bring Brody Hart to the plate.
You know, DeCamp made the decision not to throw home. I think maybe he needed some teammates communicating to him. I think they could have had a play at the plate. He couldn't get Garkey back at first, who would really come off the bag and rounded it because there was nobody there, obviously. But as a result, the Indians, they've got 2 on the board here in the top of the 4th.
Ball's low.
Nobody out.
Broke up a no-hitter with that line drive that scored the run. That ball's hit up in the air. Peppelman's going to make a play on it, and he does. Been a busy man out there today.
He really has, and you got to give credit to Hess by pounding the strike zone, and the Indians are making contact but just not able to get around on it. Left side has been very quiet for the Marion local defense.
Austin Secret steps in to hit. He walked back in inning number 3 and scored. Breaking ball strike. So both runs that have been plated today for the Fort Recovery Indians have come by a player who has walked in the game.
They say walks will haunt.
Oh, and 1's the count as Seekers dives back into, or Clint Garkey dives back into first.
Walks will haunt, walks will kill you. And when it's the leadoff batter, which has been the case in this game thus far, we've seen the result. 2 runs for the Indians via the leadoff walk.
Pitch is wide. Well, if you want to go all the way back to Griffin Brunn scored for Marion Local, the initial batter of the game for the Flyers, and he walked as well as the count goes to 1-1. Ball's going to be hit up the middle. Here's a shortstop Bruns. Quick flip to second. And got him both ways. They turned a double play.
Excellent execution. Good turn by Ethan Osterhold at second to get that catch and throw it quickly to Niekamp to get the speeding Seacrest down the line.
And that will make it a 2-1 lead for the Indians, though, as we head to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. Tonight's baseball game presented by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit charlesriver.com for more information. And Dave Bowen for the first time today. Alex Garkey takes the mound with a lead.
He does. So if he wants to break the rhythm, so to speak, he definitely does not want to walk the leadoff hitter, put himself in a position to get Marion Local on the bases right away. Make him earn it.
Ball's lined up the middle.
And they earned it.
And they did for a fact as Parker Hess starts out the inning with his second hit of the game. He's got both hits today for the Marion Local Flyers.
And along with Heitkamp and Peppelman, he is the other first-team max selection from last year. Nice piece of hitting, just waited for the ball to come in. Solid part of the bat, put it to the ball, and finds himself a nice greener out there in center field.
Ethan Osterholt will step in. Ethan struck out. He's going to bunt. That's a good bunt in the grass. Garkey gets to it, and the sack works.
Absolutely. Great execution all the way around. Bunt put down on the first base side. Garkey comes off the mound and throws him out. Hess moves up on the play.
Here's Austin Niekamp, his second appearance at the plate. The first baseman walked back in the second inning today. The runner on second base, and the former Parker Hess like to get that in and knot it up. That ball's hit up in the air. And it looks like the right fielder is going to end up making the play on it as Mason Diller gets to that one.
And they're looking to go, and Hess does. He makes it to third. Ball hits him. That might have kept him from being thrown out right there. And he is on third base now with 2 outs.
And Drew Laws, the number 9 hitter in the order, will step in. Drew was hit by a pitch back in inning number 2. Tying run 90 feet away in the presence of Parker Hess. Breaking ball is high.
Hess made the decision right away when that ball went up in the air off of the bat of Niekamp. He went back to the bag and hustled his way to third base to put himself 90 feet from home with 2 outs.
It's a strike. I think that showed you a little bit about the wind too, Dave, because I thought originally the center fielder Wendell was going to make a play on it, and Wendell, and instead it ended up in the right field. That pitch is down. Good block at the plate by Brody Hart.
And those are the plays in baseball by catchers that you don't put in the book anywhere, but he just saved a run.
2-1 is the count. And that'll make it 3-1. Griffin Bruns will be on deck. Garkey back to the plate. Swinging strike. Good fastball up. Makes it 3-2.
Garkey blowing his hand. It's starting to get a little nippier out here, a little colder.
That ball's down. The ball went to the plate.
Through.
Here's the play at the plate, and they're going to throw, and they go get him. The wild pitch scores a run. And that will knot the score up at 2.
We saw Brody Hart keep one from getting by him earlier in that at-bat, but on ball 4, it gets through him. Hess hustles his way to home.
Here's Griffiths Bruns. He's walked in the opening, and he struck out in inning number 2, and Garkey had to walk behind the mound. He was upset with himself, and it just happens, right?
Yep, you got to recollect here.
Yep. That one's in the dirt as well, and that's going to bring a runner down to second base as Laws is able to move up.
Right now, Fort Recovery got a, baseball can also be called a game of what team makes the fewest mistakes. And right now they've got a couple situations where they've had a pass ball, wild pitch for a score, and now a runner moves down to second. Alex Garkey, as you said, has got to recollect here and come right back at Griffin Bruns.
2-0 is the count to Bruns with Laws on at second. Breaking ball in the outside corner for a strike, makes it 2-1.
Bruns struck out his last at-bat, looking to make contact.
Leadoff hitter for the Flyers. Play at third, they're going to get him, and they do. Brody Hart snaps it up out of the grass, fires down to Caden Holman, and they get the runner at third, and that will end the Flyer 4th inning. But it does produce a run for them, and we'll be tied at 2 as we head to the 5th. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. Today's scoreboard sponsor is Wabash Mutual Telephone, a proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. As we head to the 5th, we're tied at 2 in this Midwest Athletic Conference baseball game. Gavin Evers, Colston Post, and the top of the order, Reese Wendell will hit for the Fort Recovery Indians in the 5th.
Evers struck out his first time at bat.
Now, that's a new one, Dave. The PA guy called this the airport. The gym has been known as the hangar for years. I did not know that this had been dubbed the airport.
The airport? What's
Makes
the football
sense.
Field?
Booster Stadium.
Booster
Yeah,
Stadium.
it is. One of my favorite places to be on a Friday night in the fall. Gavin Evers, the left fielder, steps in. Ball's going to be grounded to first. DeCamp's going to make that play. 3 unassisted.
One out in the inning. One of the statistical anomalies we're seeing in this game, we talked about it a little bit in the sense of the leadoff hitters being walked and scored. All 4 runs have been scored by the leadoff hitter of the inning. So we'll see if we can break the trend here. If you're a Fort Recovery fan, as the first batter up, Evers mixing out.
That allows Colston Post to step in and take a ball in the first pitch. Designated hitter today. He hits for Jacob Foot. Pitch is high. 2-0.
Was fortunate enough to be out at spring training for the Reds this year, and it was out in Arizona. And then opening day, those were both days that it was a little warmer, but you know what? Again, it's high school baseball. It's exciting. It's good to be here.
That's ball 3. Hess has walked 2 batters today, trying to avoid this and being the 3rd. Takes a strike. Looking out here, Dave, at the construction of the new school that's going up. 12 classrooms, VOAG area, some administrative offices.
And a new hangar, is that correct?
A new gymnasium,
Yes.
that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They will keep the current hangar used for middle school games and practices and those types of things. That would be a great facility for that.
Sure will.
And that pitch is got him on a called strike 3, the second strikeout of the game. as he gets called strike. Evers just struck out earlier on a swinging strike. We go to the top of the order with Reese Wendell. I'm thinking, Dave, as I look at that construction, as a young person, well, maybe not that young. We'll get this pitch in. Strike one. I sat in Crosley Field and looked out at them building I-75. Now, that has been a while ago.
I was going to say, just a couple days.
Yeah, it's been a
days. Considering, I hate to tell you this, but I do not remember Crosley Field.
Oh, my goodness. What a wonderful facility. Very
terrace,
small.
Right?
Had the terrace, very small. Probably didn't seat 25, 30,000 perhaps. Intimate, right on top of the game. Had a lot of that old field look to it, of course, as it was an old field, and that ball is going to be grounded. Bruns is going to make a play. See what kind of arm he's got, and he beat it out. Infield hit.
Nice job hustling down the line. Reese Wendell, leadoff hitter. That's what you want to see, and he does. That's an infield single as he forced Griffin Bruns to go to his right, and as a result, he was able to beat it out.
Some of that, obviously, is speed, but also the high, slow grass that we have here. How things have grown so far this spring. Didn't get to Bruns very quickly, but still good speed. Pitches down on the next hitter, Diller.
You said Crosley Field sat about 25, 30,000. So
yeah.
What an awakening, if you will, or just to go to Riverfront Stadium, which sat 52,000. That big scoreboard out there.
I was at Riverfront the year they opened it up. Our tickets were actually in left field, and the bathrooms weren't done out there yet.
Oh, I've never heard that story before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'll finish that here in just a second. Here's a stolen base attempt, and there's a throw. Tails away from the second baseman.
They got him off.
And they had a chance and couldn't get him. Stolen base, though, for Wendell. Let's put it this way, Dave. I know the ladies' bathrooms were not done because I heard about it from
I'm sure.
From my mother and my future spouse, that they had to walk a considerable distance before they found one. But what a great... Now, all those facilities were like St. Louis, Pittsburgh.
The cookie cutter stadiums used for football and baseball.
Yep.
The AstroTurf.
3-0.
Again, you look back and you think we put athletes on that type
Yes,
of surface.
we did.
A thin piece of carpet over cement.
Yep. Which I can give you one more wife story on. We were seated on the right field line, right where the bullpen used to be in Old Riverfront, and the Houston Astros right fielder was spitting tobacco juice on the carpet.
Okay.
My wife was highly angry. This pop-up goes to Niekamp. He secures that one. And we will agree 2-2 as we head to the bottom of the fifth. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. To the bottom of the fifth we go here at Marion Local. We're tied at 2 in this Midwest Athletic Conference opener. Mark Shine, Dave Bowen.
So you were saying your wife was a little upset with how
spitting tobacco juice on the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not a good thing. So. Griffin Bruns will lead off. He was at bat when got the runner out at third, tried to stretch a ball. It was a little bit in the dirt.
If you're Coach Hayes right now, you think this might be an inning that you could put something together at the top of the lineup. It's the third time through the lineup against Alex Garkey.
Well, something you think about a little bit, Dave, on a cold day. We're into the fifth inning here. How much more are they doing? They're going to go with the two starting pitchers, too.
Yeah.
No bullpen activity of either side right now, but you got to kind of wonder at some point if that becomes an issue. Curveball stayed inside. To Griffin Bruns, the shortstop today. That ball's going to be hit to the second baseman, Sechrist. Scoops it up, makes the throw, and they got him at first.
Nice job there by Austin Sechrist. He charged the baseball, but then he realized, okay, now it's my time to sit down and field it. Fundamental play, 1 out in the inning.
Here's Ian Riddler to step in. He's walked and scored and struck out today. His 2 previous plate appearances. He's the third baseman for Coach Hayes. Foul ball at the plate.
Alex Garkey getting ahead here against Rindler. Again, as you get into the late innings, you're staying with your starter. You got to start with that first pitch strike. Put the pressure on the batter.
Ball's going to be grounded foul. Makes it 0-2. To the bottom of the fifth we go. Flyers trying to stay perfect on the season with their 3-0 record. This is the opening MAC game for both schools. And he got him swinging. Struck him out for the second time today. The first one was a called strike 3, and that's his 6th strikeout, Dave?
Yes. 6 strikeouts for Garkey, and seems like he's getting stronger as the game is going on. And that's pretty impressive here at the early part of the season.
Here's Ethan Heitkamp. He struck out in the opening inning. A fly ball to center field his last at bat. Pitches inside and low.
You mentioned J.R. Richard, the old Houston pitcher, between innings a little bit.
I did. He warmed up that same game right in front of us. He wasn't 10, 15 feet away from me, and a huge man, and could the ball sing coming out of his hand.
Yeah, and I don't think they were concerned about 100 pitches for their starters back then.
They weren't even concerned with those silly uniforms they wore.
Yeah, those were the old softball type uniforms, weren't they?
3-0.
Softball league uniforms.
Yeah, the Ethan Heitkamp.
We talk about the AstroTurf at Riverfront. I remember the first Major League Baseball game I saw played on grass. And it was at Wrigley Field. And the grass was high. We were down low, and there were balls that were hit into the grass, and you had to go find it.
To the shortstop, picked up by Greasy, and Greasy throws it across the diamond. That was going to be an infield hit from the very beginning. Good wheels by Heitkamp.
Yeah, Caden Greasy really attacked the ball, but had to go deep to his right to field that. And with the wheels that Ethan Heitkamp brings to his team and his ability to get down the line, there was no way Greasy was going to get him. He needed a shotgun to have a chance, and a 1-out hit, or 2-out hit now.
Hayden Peppelman's 0 for 2 for today. He's the cleanup hitter with a couple of outs. Breaking ball is high.
I think you got to think about putting Heitkamp in motion here, see if they can get him in scoring position via the stolen base. With the wind the way it's blowing in, it's not a stiff breeze, but it's definitely a 8 to 10 mile per hour breeze. Might be tough to throw him out.
Ball gets away from the catchers. A throw to second, and he gets in safely.
That's going to be a pass ball.
Yes, it is. But either way, it puts him in scoring position for Peppelman, and now here comes Coach Kevin Ike to the mound.
That situation right there, Brody Hart, he tried to frame the baseball right there, tried to bring it into the strike zone, and it just went off the edge of his glove. And that allows Heitkamp to be in scoring position.
I think they're going to put Peppelman on. You know, he's your cleanup hitter. They've got him out twice today, but they've got Bryant Meyer out twice today, who bats behind him as well.
Well, if you're playing according to Hoyle, you would say yes. You have first base open with 2 outs, create the force situation.
Lefty-righty situation.
Mm-hmm. I think Coach Ike went out there and said, Alex, how do you feel? Do you want to go against him, or should we put him on? He probably gave Garkey a little bit of say in the decision, and they're going to pitch to him.
They are. Peppelman steps in, hits that one foul down the left field side and out of play. Makes it 2-1 is the count.
Not going with the metrics. 2-0 would have said, yeah, let's go ahead and put him on now. But 2-1, going with the feel is Coach Ike with his pitcher.
It's hit down the left field line. It's going to go foul.
That's one where the way the wind's blowing, and again, you usually don't have the wind blowing in here at Marion Local with the way this field is set up. It's usually coming left or right, but that one right there, that might have been a fair ball on any other day.
Like a guy who takes a pitch and goes the other way with it.
Mm-hmm.
The count will be 2-2 as Garkey Let's get to different baseball. There are 2 outs with the runner on second base in the presence of Ethan Heitkamp. Pitch is down. Here's the play. Hart throws it down to first, and they get him. So Garkey gets out of a runner on second base with 2 outs. Strikeout of Peppelman. And we will go to the 6th, tied at 2. If you're watching high school baseball on WOSN. Today's baseball game is presented by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit charlesriver.com for more information. Top of the 6th we go is Caden Greasy, Caden Holman, and Alex Garkey for Coach Kevin Ike. Fort Recovery in a 2-2 game. Pitches down low.
Caden Greasy knows this is a big at-bat here in the top of the 6th inning. Leading things off, wants to find a way to first base. There's a good contact.
Runs with the pickup. Here's the throw across the diamond, and Niekamp couldn't scoop it up out of the dirt. That'll be an error.
So the second error in the game for Marion Local allows that lead runner lead batter to reach for Fort Recovery. Now they'll look to push him around and take a lead.
Here's Caden Holman in to hit. Caden walked back in inning number 4 and was replaced by Cody Klinke, who pitch ran for him, and Klinke ended up scoring the tying run in this game. He's flied out and walked in his 2 appearances today. Here comes Riddler in at third. Here's a steal attempt. Here's a throw to second, and got him.
Nicely done. Good execution right there. Ethan Heitkamp gets rid of it quick. And then a nice tag put on by Ethan Osterholt. They get the runner and erase the threat here early in the 6th inning.
So Caden Greasy called out on a steal attempt. And the count is now 1-1 on Caden Holman. Top of the 6th inning. Took something off that one, got the outside corner with it to make it 1-2.
Holman worked a walk his last at bat. Finds himself down in the count. Going to have to be aggressive with the bat here.
Ball's going to be hit to the second baseman, Osterholt. He's scoop and throw, and they got him. So first 2 hitters. One on by an error, caught stealing, and the second one, Holman, goes out on a ground ball. This will be Garkey to step in to hit. Garkey's singled today. He has one of the 2 hits today for the Fort Recovery Indians. That hit produced a run, an RBI. First pitch is a ball. That pitch is inside. Dave, I was thinking coming down here several years ago, I did the opening MAC baseball game of the year. It was Port Recovery at Delphos St. John's. We went 9 innings, and neither team had a hit. St. John's won 1-0 in the bottom of the 9th. There's a hit.
Yes.
That's spanked up into the right center field alley out to the 355 sign. Garkey makes the turn, but a good play out there by Laws to get it back in quickly. I think the grass held that up a bit too, but that's a really solid hit that time by Garkey, his second of the game.
Yeah, nice job going with the pitch again. I love his swing, just flows right through the zone. Both of his hits have been no doubters, and with 2 outs, they have a base runner. This is where they'd like to have Greasy back on the bases. He might be standing on third right now, but again, the defense of Marion Local and Ethan Heitkamp's arm erased him on the steal attempt to second.
We got a flyer in the bullpen, but we'll see if Hess is able to get out of this. He's got Brody Hart at the plate right now and 2 outs. Pitch is outside.
And Hess still looks pretty comfortable out there. Doesn't seem to be laboring at all. And both pitchers, I know I mentioned it earlier, Alex Garkey going to his hand to keep his hand warm, but overall they both look very, very comfortable at this point in the game.
Foul ball makes it 1-1. Austin Sechrist is on deck. Austin's walked it into a double play today.
Coldest game you've ever been a part of as a broadcaster, or did you play baseball?
That ball's hit up the middle. That's going to be a hit.
Nicely done.
Yep.
Good piece of hitting there. Again, being very, very patient. Not a whole lot of movement in the batter's box, and then exploding on the baseball is Brody Hart.
2-out single brings Sechrist to the plate. I played high school baseball. I pitched at a JV game and it snowed during the game.
I pitched a snow game against Continental back in the day, varsity game.
You know, it would be unfair to say I pitched. I threw.
Well, I think I pitched because I couldn't throw it hard. I had to be able to hit the corners, and the catcher needed to have 8 fingers because I had like 8 different pitches, slow to slower.
1-1's the count.
Fastball was definitely not in my vocabulary.
2 on, 2 out for Sechrist. Ball's fouled away, makes it 1-2.
Sechrist has reached on a walk, and then he hit into a double play. Solid contact to Bruns at shortstop. See if he can make that same contact here, but put it where they ain't, and it may score a run for the Indians.
That ball's hit to right field and right at Peppelman. Had a busy day, made a lot of plays out there. And as Hayden Peppelman, that one will bring this inning to a close. Put a couple men on, couldn't score. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, tied at 2. Watching high school baseball on WOSN. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, we're tied at 2. Our scoreboard sponsor today is Wabash Mutual Telephone, a proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. For the Marion local Flyers, they will go with Bryant Meyer, Parker Hess, and Ethan Osterholt here in the bottom of number 6. Alex Garkey back on the mound. Starting to wonder when each pitcher will either burn up a pitch count or maybe just get there because of fatigue this early in the season. That ball's hit to the second baseman, Sechrist. It's an easy 1-pitch out.
Sometimes when you get into the late innings, you want to say, hey, let's make him pitch a little bit here. But both pitchers have been spot on. You got to get into that batter's box being aggressive. And right there, Meyer is, but he grounds out to Austin Sechrist at second.
Parker Hess, he's 2 for 2 today. Scored a run back in inning number 4. He starts out with a ball that's down in strikes are down in the zone. 1-0. Ball's hit also to the second baseman, Sechrist. And once again, the same result, another 4-3 out.
Sechrist goes to his left just a little bit more on that one, but fields it cleanly. Just good fundamental baseball defensively out there.
You know, Dave, you and I spent a lot of time around high schools. You know the number of high school kids who can't keep score in a scorebook?
Oh.
They have no idea what a 4-3 out is. You know, we grew up with it, you know, and it's not something we use much anymore. That's a ball.
Always enjoy taking my scorebook or buying a scorecard at the game and go down to a major league game.
Swinging strike, good pitch that time. Had him fooled. 1-1's the count.
They've got more important things to do today. They got to get on social media, Mark.
Yeah. Good breaking ball for a strike there. Makes it 1-2. Trying to make an easy inning out of it is Alex Garkey. Pitches away, 2-2.
Osterholt being patient here after the first 2 batters. Went quickly in the pitch count for the inning.
Foul ball. Austin Niekamp is on deck.
Just looking for one crack in the armor are both teams in this 2-2 Donnybrook.
And he got him swinging. seventh strikeout of the game today for Alex Garkey, and that will be a quick work of the 6th inning. We'll go to the 7th. We're still tied at 2. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. We're pleased to announce a new pricing for the WSN streaming service. For only $8 per month, you can watch WSN from anywhere at any time. Sign up today at app.wsn.tv. Also available on Roku and Apple TV. We're going to go to the top of the 7th. Parker Hess is back on the mound. A little meeting at home plate here.
But he's going to face a new batter in Keegan Mullenkamp.
Mullenkamp is going to step in for Evers to hit. Keegan Mullenkamp, is that right, Dave?
Keegan, yes.
Keegan Mullenkamp will hit.
He's a senior.
As he will lead off here in inning number 7.
7 seniors on this Fort Recovery roster. 9 seniors on the roster for the Flyers.
You know, Dave, not only is it getting colder, it's getting darker.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if at some point the ball's not even going to be more difficult to see and hit in this particular environment.
Positive, no raindrops.
Correct. Striking the opening pitch to Mullenkamp. That bus out there with its lights on is not doing much good helping to light the field up. Blew that ball by him. I coached baseball for 4 years, Dave, going back to the coldest one. We actually coached a game. It was in snow. Players were singing, we brought the bus up and sat in it instead of in the dugout, and my players were singing Jingle Bells.
That's great. We did the same thing in that snow game I mentioned earlier that I pitched in. We had the bus right behind the dugout, went in there to get warm. We did not sing Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
I don't think we...
0-2.
We weren't smart enough. We didn't know the words.
Ground ball, that's going to go to Bruns up the middle. Makes a scoop and throws it across and got him. Mullenkamp, the pitch hitter, goes out 6-3 here for the first out of inning number 7. And that'll bring the Colston post to the bat. Colston has been on by the fielder's choice and struck out on a called third strike today.
We've had a pinch runner in this game in the form of Cody Klinke earlier in the game, but Mullenkamp, the first change in the lineup as far as a batter or fielder.
Well, Hess has really come out and thrown the ball well here in inning number 7.
Yeah, he's picked up his velocity as the game has moved along.
Pitches down. 1-1's the count.
And you know, both pitchers, they brought the fastball, they've brought the slider.
That pitch is inside. Good look.
But mostly have relied on their fastball, and their breaking balls really haven't had much break to them, and I think a lot of it's because they're pitching with the wind. They're not going into the wind or a neutral wind.
That ball's hit over the head of the third baseman, Rindle, and into the left field. So the number 9 hitter in the order, Post, has his first hit of the day.
Again, just waited on that pitch, stayed deep with his movement as far as waiting for that ball to come to him, and then he just did a nice job of driving it over Rindler's head. Base runner for the Indians with 1 out.
Reese Wendell will step in to hit. He's got a single and 3 at-bats today, and first pitch swings through that one for a strike. Yeah, fastball pitchers, they want the wind behind them. And obviously a bit more velocity, plus it keeps their mistakes in the park. Breaking ball pitchers like the wind in their face. It causes a little bit extra spin and bite on the ball. Shows butt. That's going to be butted foul. Makes it 0-2.
Interesting decision right there by Kevin Eink to bunt and possibly give up the second out of the inning in order to move the runner into scoring position. But you're talking about your leadoff hitter right here in Wendell, followed by the 2, 3, and 4, has confidence in those guys being able to bring Post around.
Mason Diller is on deck. He is the number 2 hitter in the lineup, and then turn it over to number 3, Kane Greasy, if you can get there. 1 out with a runner on first base.
5 hits for the Indians in this game thus far.
It's a little closer than I thought it was going to be at first base.
Hess has 2 strikeouts to his credit.
And we're going to get time at the plate. This is what you call pitch to contact, isn't it, Dave?
It sure is.
Get those guys behind you to make plays for you.
And yeah, don't try and strike a guy out when you've only had 2 on the day. Just look to put it in a position where your defense can field it and Wendell can't get all of the baseball and drive it.
That pitch is high, makes it 1-2. Reese Wendell's the center fielder today for Coach Ike. And he swings through that pitch. That is a good time for a 3rd strikeout today.
2 outs in the inning, yeah, big strikeout right there. Unable to move Post into scoring position.
Here's Mason Diller to step in. Mason's 0 for 3 today. He was on with an error back in inning number 3. Hit the ball on the ground a couple times and popped up today. Hess in the stretch. Ball's fouled away. 0-1's the count.
Well, I'm telling you right now, one guy that needs to be ready, and he has been the whole game, is Hayden Peppelman. As Diller is a little late on that pitch. And yeah, if you could drive one down the right field line, you might have a play at the plate.
Ball's tapped on an excuse me type swing. Hess picks it up and gets it to Niekamp, and that will be a 1-3 out, and we will go to the bottom of the 7th, tied at 2 in this MAC opening game of the season. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. You can join Danny Holbrook, Miles Holliday, and Nate Garlock each week as they break down local high school matchups, talk Buckeye athletics, and discuss all sports throughout Ohio. That's on the 3 Wise Men podcast that they tape on Mondays and put out for viewing on Tuesdays. And we will go to the bottom of the 7th inning for the Marion local Flyers. That's 8-9-1. Austin Niekamp, Drew Laws, and Griffin Bruns against Alex Garkey. Starts him out inside.
Good old good one here. The unstoppable force versus the immovable object. 2-2.
Swinging strike.
And one of the things we love about the game of baseball, there's no clock. You got to get them out. And right now, Alex Garkey looking to mow down Austin Niekamp.
Pitches outside, it's 2-1. Mentioned earlier, Austin Niekamp will be a Malone basketball player a year from now. Talk about the growth and progress that young man made over his career. That ball's fouled away, makes it 2-2.
You're exactly right, Mark. Watching him as a freshman and how he evolved, always enjoyed shooting the ball outside, and then he had a big guy inside in Jack Kanapke for the Flyers, but he developed his inside game and was a real threat to be able to score anywhere on the floor.
Ball's fisted down to the third baseman to pick up by Holman and throws it away. Actually, I thought Foote had a chance to make the play over there and just got by him. So it's going to be an error. I'm not sure exactly who you would chalk that error up to, though, Dave.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the throwing error because that hit the ground.
Either way, it's the first error of the game for the Fort Recovery Indians. Puts the leadoff hitter on, and Drew Laws will step in to hit. The number 9 guy in the order today. He's been hit by a pitch today and swings through that for particular pitch. And then he walked also. Griffin Bruns is on deck. That would be the top of the order for the Flyers and Coach Mitchell Hayes. That ball's fouled away.
No thought of a bunt here from Drew Laws at all, swinging away. And no thought by Coach Hayes to maybe pinch run for Niekamp. Being told myself, I said it was deceptive speed, Coach. I'm faster than you think I am. And Austin Niekamp He's able to stay in the game and be a smart base runner here for the Flyers.
Laws was able to hold up on that pitch to make it 1-2. Ball's in the dirt. Good block that time by Hart. Laws, of course, like many of these Flyers, are a significant part of the Southern State football championship team. Coach Goodwin. 2-2. That one's in the dirt as well. Another good play by Hart. Brody's been busy back there behind the plate today. Full count.
Big pitch right here in this bottom of the 7th inning.
And that one's outside, so Laws will walk. And the first 2 runners are on for the Flyers here in a tied up 7th inning. And here goes Coach Ike to the mound.
Nobody warming up for Fort Recovery, so I think this is just a checkup from the neck up to talk to the whole infield. We got runners on first and second, but Garkey is going to come out.
He is. While they make a pitching change, we're going to take a break also. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. Marion Local Flyers put the first 2 hitters on here in the bottom of the 7th. That causes a pitching change. Jacob Foote has now entered. Jacob has been the DH today, and will step into the number 9 spot in the batting order. The previous pitcher, Alec Garkey, moves to third base, and the previous third baseman, Caden Holman, moves over to play first. And Foote's in to face Reese Wendell with 2 runners on. Jacob Foote threw a lot of breaking balls as he was warming up, and we'll see if Griffin Bruns and crew can time one of those up. Bruns today has walked, he has struck out, and he's grounded out to the second baseman today. Third baseman playing deep. First baseman, the new first baseman, Holman's really in on the grass, expecting a bunt. That pitch bounces up there, and everybody's going to move up. So a wild pitch from Foote.
And the Flyers are in business now with runners on second and third, nobody out. And do you look at, yeah, I think
they're going to put him on.
Yeah, I think Coach Ike is going to
send him
down to first base.
Yep. So they give him the automatic walk. And that will load the bases up now. Bring up Ian Rindler. Rindler today has struck out twice. He walked in the opening inning. Number 2 hitter in the order. And a tall challenge now. Fort Recovery's got the infield in. Pitch is wide to Rindler.
Foote's got to find the strike zone here in a hurry. Doesn't want to get way behind in the count.
That pitch is outside. It's 2-0.
He's thrown 3 pitches total, and they've all been balls. So tough situation right now. Jacob Foote's got to find it.
Big lead for Niekamp down at third. That pitch was inside and low, and it's 3-0, and Foote's really in a hole right here.
Marion Local a pitch away from a walk-off base on balls.
That's a strike.
Nice job by Jacob Foote right there. Comes back with the strike. First one since he's taken the hill here. He's got to come back with another one. 3-1 count, though. Hitter's pitch.
Rindler hits that one up in the air. Here comes Wendell. Nope. Plays made by the outfielder and the right fielder. Here's a throw to home, and they got him.
Nicely done by Fort Recovery. The unconventional double play. Austin Niekamp tries to score from third, but a great catch out there in right field by Mason Diller. Relays it to Caden Holman, and then he goes to his catcher, Brody Hart. Nice job to keep this game knotted at 2. Excellent execution, excellent relay.
That it is. It leaves Laws on second base. No, I'm sorry. Laws moves up to third on the throw home. And Griffin Bruns moves to second base. And there are 2 outs. What a play defensively. Good play by the catcher, Hart. Stood in there, took the catch, the throw, and that pitch is a bit high to Heitkamp. Took the hit, held on to the baseball, and got him at home.
Coach Ike walked out a little bit, and then he went back to the dugout. I think, again, you're thinking,
Yep.
with first base open, do we walk Heitkamp and then face Peppelman?
That pitch also is high. And you're right, with a 2-ball count, then you got to, if you bring him up, though, you're looking at Peppelman, the left-handed hitter. That pitch also is high. It's 3-0. And Jacob Foote.
You don't want to give Heitkamp anything too fat here right now, 3-0.
That's a strike on the outside part of the plate, 3-1.
Still a big pitch, living dangerously out there. It's Jacob Foote. Runners on second and third, trying to work out of this jam.
That also is a strike. Comes back to make it a full count at 3-2.
The tenacity, you got to give it to Jacob Foote in this inning. He's fought through some control issues. One pitch from getting out of the inning right here.
That ball's hit foul and out of play as it goes behind the dugout of the Fort Recovery Indians.
And a big decision by Coach Ike to go ahead and pitch here to Heitkamp, but I think he likes the right-on-right-handed batter situation with the way Foote throws the breaking ball. Makes it tough on a right-handed batter.
That pitch is high, it's going to walk him. So the second walk of the inning by Jacob Foote. And that will reload the bases, this time for Hayden Peppelman.
Peppelman 0 for 3 in the game thus far. Hit it to the first baseman and the pitcher, along with a strikeout.
That pitch is down. Ball 1. It's your cleanup hitter. Probably the guy you want up in this situation if you're Coach Hayes. That's a strike. We'll make the count 1-1. He was taken all the way. See what he does now with a 1-1 count.
Segras and Homan need to be ready there on the right side of this infield.
2-1.
Jacob Foote's come in and done a really nice job. See if he can finish the mission here. Keep this game tied.
And it's 3-1.
No place for Peppelman here. Hitter's pitch at 3-1.
It was a 3-1 count that ended up in the fly ball double play. And we're going to go full.
And here it is. No clock. You got to throw the pitch. You got to swing it if it's a strike. If you're the batter.
3-2, bases loaded. And he got him called.
What a way to work out of the jam, the Indians and Jacob Foote. And the Indians, they are fired up, and rightly so.
How about that? He comes in with the bases loaded, gets a fly ball double play out, walks one, and then gets a strikeout to end the 7th. And we're going to go extra innings. We'll go to the top of the 8th when we come back. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. This extra inning baseball game is presented by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit charlesriver.com for more information. And back on the mound, Parker Hess will go against Caden Greasy. Caden Holman and Alex Garkey here in the 8th inning.
3-4-5 for the Indians.
Pitches inside for a ball. What a job, though, that Jacob Foote did.
Yeah, comes in. Struggles to find the strike zone and then all of a sudden works his way out of it. Good mental toughness, good competitive spirit.
It's a strike. We'll make count 1-1. Got a great double play from his defense. And then got a called strike 3 on the cleanup hitter to get out of the inning. That also is a strike on the outside part of the plate. 1-2 is the count. Parker Hess into the 8th inning today.
Yeah, kudos to Parker Hess. He's pitched an outstanding game into the 8th inning this early in the season.
That ball's hit up in the air. Peppelman started in and now has to circle back out as the wind kind of plays some tricks with that, but he records the out. And Caden Holman will step in. Caden today is 0 for 2. He did walk in inning number 4. Cody Klinke ran for him and eventually scored a run off after a stolen base.
Peppelman with his 6th put out of the game out there in right field.
It's a strike on the outside part of the plate.
We know he has 1 assist as well out there.
Good breaking ball for a strike. Quickly makes it 0-2 on the cleanup hitter, Caden Holman. Alex Garkey is on deck.
Holman has a fly out to Peppelman in this game as well as a ground out to Osterholt at second.
And he went, and they're going to tag him out at the plate. Swinging strike. Tag at the plate. I have 4 strikeouts, Dave. Does that sound right by your
Sure does.
count?
4 strikeouts for Parker Hess.
And here is Alex Garkey to step in. Alex has, let's see, flew out to the, actually got a play from the right fielder to throw him out at first base. And then he singled and singled again. So he's 2 for 3, has made solid contact though all 3 times. Now he's the 3rd baseman in the lineup after pitching 6+ today. Pitches down the side. What is this you gave me, Dave?
I just gave you some hand warmers.
Come on. Let's man up here. It's 2-1.
It's just getting a little cooler
It is, isn't it?
by the minute out here.
That ball's hit up in the air also. Peppelman's on his horse to get it, and
What
he
a
tracks
catch!
that one down as well. That one was headed up in the gap, and Peppelman makes another great play in the outfield, and we will go to the bottom of the 8th, still tied at 2. You're watching high school baseball on WOSN. We're back at Marion Local as we go to the bottom of the 8th. The pitching line on Alex Garkey completed 6 innings today. Gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. One of those was earned. He struck out 8. He walked 3. Hit a batter today and pitched well, but will leave without a decision today.
Yeah, this has just been an outstanding high school baseball game. We've seen some solid offense, some great defense, and excellent pitching by Garkey and Hayes, and then Jacob Foote now for the Indians.
Bryant Meyer, Parker Hess, Ethan Osterholt in the bottom of the 8th for the Flyers. Swinging strike. 2nd inning of work for Jacob Foote. Flyers have somebody warm up in the bullpen, and we wonder if Hess's day is done. Of course, he'd like to see his team score and get out of here with a victory and not have to bring that pitcher in the 9th, but we'll see how this plays out. Count goes to 1-1. Bought a car a few years ago, Dave. It had heated seats.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, that's kind of silly. What do I need that for? You know what? When I turn that car on tonight, I'm going to turn those heated seats on.
Absolutely, yes. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, get the fingers back to where I can feel them a little bit here. And again, it could be worse. It could be worse, but it's a little chilly out here.
1 ball and 2 count.
Nice job with Foote coming with a strike on that 1-1 count.
Pitches up and in a bit to make it 2-2.
And Scott Barr behind the plate, he has had an excellent game.
He has, hasn't he?
Both benches, we've not heard a thing from either coach, and it's been consistent back there, and good pitching helps that.
Outside. You know, I think about that when I think about the play we showed earlier with the 8 unassisted at the plate. What a great job the umpire did. He was right on the call. He looked at it. He made sure what he saw. He made sure the ball wasn't dribbled away or, fumbled away. That ball's lying down the first baseline, and made the call correctly and decisively. I thought he did a great job of it. I've got his name at home in my file cabinet. Unfortunately, I forgot to dig it out today, but I thought he did a really good job as well.
He did. Just was real patient. You want to make sure you've got the call right, and there really isn't a hurry. You need to see it through in your head and make sure you're seeing what you see in live action as we see the strikeout right there.
Foot's second strikeout of the day as he gets a swinging strikeout of Bryant Meyer. Parker Hess will enter. Parker's 2 for 3 today. A couple of singles in innings number 2 and 4, and then grounded out in inning number 6.
You got to give kudos to the fans here tonight as well. Mark doing a great job, just locked into this game. Everybody's bundled up, but everybody's really cheering on their team as well, hoping to find a run.
Well, we ought to throw some props out, too, to Megan, Jonathan, and Nick today, doing all the camera and audio work for us as well. That ball's hit up in the air.
That's the hardest ball hit we've seen today.
And twisted around. It falls in front of the left fielder. And with a stand-up double, we'll get Parker Hess. Wind played havoc with that one to bid out in left field and eventually falls out there in left field. We'll get a double by Hess, who just kept right on running. And that'll bring Ethan Ostrolt to the plate. Ethan Ostrolt today, 0 for 2 with a sack.
I think they're calling that an error out there now.
Right?
Yeah,
it
did go off his glove, but he had to cover a lot of ground to get there.
Yeah.
Tough break for Gavin Evers.
It is. We'll change our scorebook as well to make it an E7. I thought it was a tough play, but I'm not the official scorekeeper. Glad you caught that, Dave, so we can keep our stuff accurate with what's going on here. And pitch is down. It's 2-0. So Jacob Foote has lived in trouble since he's been in the game, and see if he can get out of it once again. That pitch is high. Make it 3-0.
Again, if he ends up walking Osterholt here, it's not the worst thing in the world. Sets up the force play at any base.
And that's through the dirt. Let's see if the runner moves up for third. Here's a throw, and he's going to dive in safely at third base, does Hess.
Great job down there at third by Alex Garkey of knocking that ball down. That gets through him. They might be sending Hess to the plate, and this game might very well be over.
Well, here comes Austin Niekamp as we get the third walk of the game for Jacob Foote. And here comes Niekamp. Austin Niekamp today. You can see what he's done. He's walked. He flew out to right field. And then he was out on that double play that went 9. Let's see, how was it? He was on by an error and got thrown out the plate. I guess I should wrap up by saying it that way.
9-3-2 is what that was. Just, again, an excellent relay. Those are tough plays early in the season. You don't get to practice those relays like that before Recovery executed it.
And here's the runner taking off for second. He will go in uncontested. And now let's see what they do with Niekamp. Drew Laws is down in the on-deck circle, and now the whole infield is in, as you might expect, with one out here in the bottom of the 8th. Ball's fouled away.
Well, the bad news is that you've got runners in scoring position again, Mark. The good news is Jacob Foote has dealt with this before, as in the last inning. So see if he can work out of this jam.
Back to the plate he comes. Niekamp's going to hit a ground ball to the shortstop. Here's a play at the plate, and he makes it. Parker Hess dives head first into home plate, beats the throw, and the Marion local Flyers will take a 3-0 victory, or 3-2 victory in 8 innings over the Fort Recovery Indians. And Boy, Dave, what a close play that would have been if they'd been able to come up with it at the plate.
Yeah, Caden Greasy at shortstop fields that ball, knows he's coming home the whole way because there's only one out in the inning. And, again, the hands are cold, the fingers are cold here at this point in time, and he just held on to it a tick too long, and it goes to the right of home plate. Hart unable to come up with it, and Hess scores, and Marion Local comes away with a big MAC victory.
Well, you just mentioned Parker Hess. He is the winning pitcher today. He pitched 8 innings today, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 4, walked a pair, and he really had a really good game today.
He did. Call him the marathon man. 8 innings here on April 10th. That's very impressive in these conditions, but he was a gamer out there, very competitive, and as a result, not only does he get the win, he scores the winning run.
So Marion Local will go to 4-0 in the season. They will be 1-0 in MAC play. Fort Recovery will drop to 3-2. They are 0-1 in MAC play. We want to thank our sponsors today. Scoreboard sponsors Ben Wabash Mutual Telephone. Our presenting sponsors Charles River. Thank the athletic director here, Dan Caney, came up and gave us lots of pregame information. Always appreciate Dan. And Nick Fraley, Megan Sherrick, Jonathan Young did all the work here at the stadium. Nick Fraley will take it back to the station on Beatty Road and edit it all together. Dave, great job for you as always. It's been a fun baseball game. Marion Local, 3-2 in 8 innings over Fort Recovery. You've been watching high school baseball on WOSN.